Hello everybody. Very good evening to all of you. To people who know me, I'm Dinker. I sing for movies. I'm a playback vocalist, and I'm also a lead vocalist for Band Capri Show. And so for people who don't know who I am, so let me start with my story. So the one-liner that I have chosen is speaking about how do we interpret and understand the concept of what do we really want to become, the parenting. So what does parenting mean? And whatever I'm going to talk about today is just my experience and what I feel that I wanted to speak about, and it is not got anything to do with hurting anybody's emotions or sentiments. So I would begin with talking about parenting, where my parenting was very beautiful because there were no gadgets during my time, and it was more enlightening, wherein I had a chance of my parents personally sitting beside me and trying to explain and make me understand things in a very better way than what is unfortunately happening today. So what is that is actually happening today? So gadgetizing. So I wanted to speak a little about de-gadgetizing. I have a 3-year-old daughter, and my wife is a dental surgeon. She's a doctor. And so there was a question when we had a kid, how do we really want to raise her? Because I have many friends who also have kids, and we have seen many people bringing up their kids in a certain fashion. So we wanted our kid to be more aware of, or probably we wanted our kid to be brought up, we wanted to bring her up in the same way as we were brought up during our childhood. So that is only possible, or the majority of the part would probably be possible by de-gadgetizing. So today, unfortunately, most of us are forcing our kids, or we try to keep them engaged using iPads, smartphones, televisions, and laptops, whatnot, all digital gadgets. So that is a very bad way of, probably trying to bring up a kid's future, or trying to shape them in that way, because it drastically decreases the thinking ability and the creativity of any kid. Once you give them a scope, or once you give them a chance to think, or rather go out and play or try to interact with them, that would probably do a lot of good for them. That would develop their skill. They would be physically fit, they would be mentally drained before they sleep every day. And so I had one of my friends recently ask me this question: how do you do that? How do you not give your kid an iPad or a laptop, or how do you make it possible? How do you try to engage your daughter? So the way me and my wife, the most of the credit though goes to my wife. So she makes my kid do a lot of book reading, a lot of physical activity, teaching them about our rituals, our scriptures. So there is Ramayana, there is Quran, there is Bible. So there are so many traditions and customs and the history of India which they can be made aware of. We have the mythological characters that they can be aware of. So this is just a way of what we try to bring our daughter up, what we are trying to do at home. So that is really lacking today. And so why did I speak about that? Why did I speak about trying to de-gadgetize? I firmly believe that this gadgetization for the kids is drastically decreasing their creativity. So this is what I wanted to suggest. All the people who are having kids, don't encourage them with gadgets, or rather try to spend more time with kids and make them understand, try to communicate, try to imbibe those emotions into them. And the next thing I wanted to speak about was age and ambiguity. So when I was a kid, I wanted to become a cricketer, because my dad took me to cricket coaching. I was trained in cricket for a few years. Then I wanted to become a cricketer because Sachin was my favorite. And a little, as I got a little older, then I started watching, these Indian Air Force videos which were telecast on Doordarshan that time, which were very inspiring. Then I used to tell my dad I want to become a pilot. And after that, I had my uncle who was the Dean of Pharmacy at Kakatiya University, Warangal. Then I wanted to become a pharmacist like him. And after that, today I am a playback vocalist. So they are totally, they don't have any connection with each other. So how did this happen? So we always have that ambiguity, that confusion, or that clarity-lessness when we are kids. So there is an age where we, probably try to nurture and solidify the thoughts. And whom do we idolize? So because I wanted to become a cricketer because I was idolizing Sachin Tendulkar at a time. And then I was wanting to become a pharmacist because I was idolizing my uncle at a time. But what did I really want to do? So what was that I really loved doing? I always loved to sing. Since my childhood, this is the best thing that was always giving me a lot of happiness, because whenever we had a function or whenever we had a competition at school, I represented my state, I represented my place at state and national level music competitions. Since I was a kid, I was trained in classical music. But though I enjoyed singing all the time, I enjoyed singing for my friends, I enjoyed singing for the audience, I enjoyed singing and taking part in competitions. When did that singing thing properly solidify? When was I really able to make a proper decision that I can make this as a career? So this happened when I was like say 24 years old. So I am a pharmacist by profession. I've done my B Pharmacy. After that, I've done my MS from the UK. So I was in London for almost 4.5 years, wherein I finished my post-graduation. Then I was working for a company there. I came back to India. Then I was working at a company at Chennai. And then this opportunity of singing in a movie happened, where I got a chance to sing for a movie. And luckily, by God's grace, that song eventually became a massive hit. And then opportunities started pouring in. So there I was a fix at a point where I was confused whether I had to choose music as my profession, or all these years, all the effort I have put in academics, so should I continue in the pharmacy line? So that's when I had to sit with my dad, my grandfather, my parents were involved, and we had a few brainstorming sessions wherein my dad just told me one thing that day. See man, today you're a postgraduate, so there is nothing wrong in missing an opportunity, in using an opportunity, because you always had your academics to go back and fall upon. So you are safe, so you can go and sing, you can try the singing field. If you are successful, well and good. So if you are not able to make a mark, then what do? So you can always come back and start working in your pharmacy line. So that's when I really understood that education is the basis. You have to be good at your academics, and after you become good in your academics, then you can definitely choose what you really want to do in life. So because the amount of exposure that academics and education gives to a person, I've experienced that personally, where I can distinguish myself from many other people. So this is how I entered playback singing. Coming back to the idolizing during our teens. So teen age has got many influences that happen to each one of us. So we have a few good influences, and most of them are bad, because as human beings, there is always a tendency of getting attracted to bad than getting attracted to good, most of us at least. So I firmly believe that people around us do matter in helping us take a wise decision of whom we need to really move along with, who is going to be our companion, who is going to be our friend, and our parents play a vital role. The reason I'm speaking about parenting all the time is the next generation is coming up, and we are all parents, we are all young parents who've got little kids and children now. So it is our responsibility to give them a proper guidance, not guiding them in a wrong way, correcting them whenever necessary. And what do you again mean by wrong guidance? So most of the people, there is a saying in Telugu, most of the people we hear to them saying, "Kaki pilla kaki ki mudu." So I totally contradict that. Because as far as I am concerned, whenever I used to do a mistake, even today, my father or my mother, they never stop correcting me. They always make it a point to convey and communicate the same to me that, I am not doing it in the right way. Probably this can be done in another way. So most of the parents we've got always try to support their kids. They're always proud of whatever their kids do, either right or wrong. So this needs to be corrected. And then, figuring out what our strengths and weaknesses are. Can we go a little up? Yeah. So our strengths and weaknesses. So, yeah. So how do we decide what our strengths and weaknesses are, and who helps us to do that? So generally, logically, so a person who is more knowledgeable or has got more experience than us can probably correct or tell us what is good and what is bad. So unfortunately, we've got, for example, I am a vocalist, I am a musician. So we've randomly got a person who comes up to me and says, man, that was very bad. You've sung it very bad. Okay, that's good. I can take it. But what right or what experience has that person got to correct me? So we need to figure out the right person who can judge us or who can probably guide us in the right way. And that is one of the key factors in being able to figure out what we really want to become. So, so how did I decide that I can sing? So it was not decided by me. It was not decided by my parents. It was decided by my guru. So when I was a kid, when I was taken to a guru, to my guru, for joining them at joining me in their academy to learn music. So that's when my teacher told my parents that I think this guy can sing, but it's too early to comment. Probably 2 or 3 years of training, and then we could probably figure out if he can do a good job. And then school, competitions at school, and luckily I stood first in most of them, and it went well. So that's how music entered my life. And later on, I was really skeptical about taking this up as a career because I come from an academic family, so I always believed that academics is exposure, education is exposure. I really believed in it. I had it in my blood, and my father is an electronics engineer. So my wife is a doctor. My younger brother is a doctor. He's done his internal medicine from the US, and he's a doctor there. So I am a pharmacist too. So it was decided by my parents that I can sing, or it was not decided by me or my parents. It was decided by my guru that I can sing. So this is where it's actually going wrong these days. So and art is a beautiful form of expression, which can be considered as a career too. So unfortunately, most of us disagree to that. And because we have our own insecurities, how much money do we make, how do we settle down, what kind of a lifestyle we have or we are rather going to have in future, so many questions popping up. But if we really think that our kid or the person whom we are talking about can make a mark, I don't think it's a bad option to choose. And there also there is one more point, one more very, very important point that I wanted to speak about. So this comes back again to the point I was speaking before, the company. So there's a lot of influence of friends, family, cousins, and people who we move around with. At that time, our mind never listens to what we actually want to do, and mate vinadu. So because I'm a musician, I just wanted to sing a small phrase about mate vinaduga. So there's a song in Telugu which I really love. So how does the lyric go? Perige vegame tagile meghame hasale agadu ee paruge okate gamyame darulu verule payaname nee panile mate vinaduga 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 vegam digaduga digaduga vegam mate vinaduga 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 vegam vegam vegam. So it goes like this. So mate eppudu vinadu, but mana pakkana unna vallu, if the people beside us, especially our parents, our gurus, can be very strong, they can actually shape us out into a beautiful individual, or rather I'll call it a beautiful citizen. So our parents, our gurus, our near and dear, who influence us or who probably teach us what is right and what is wrong, are very, very crucial in making us choose what we really want to become. So on this note, again, there's one more song I really wanted to sing, because I believe that my mother had a major role in my life, because my mom is an epitome of patience and love. So that's what she always keeps telling me, even today. We just keep discussing about issues at home, like you all do with your family. I do the same. So if at all there is a point wherein I just get a little aggressive, or I am irritated or disturbed or frustrated, that's when my mom comes and tells me, don't get angry, because if you get angry, it is only going to damage you, and it will spoil your thinking process. It will get your ability down. So being one of my most important gurus in my life, my mom and dad, so because everybody loves their mom, I wanted to end today's talk with a beautiful song on my mom. This is for every mom of the world. పెదవే పలికిన మాటల్లోనే తీయని మాటే అమ్మా, కదిలే దేవత అమ్మా, కంటికి వెలుగమ్మా. పెదవే పలికిన మాటల్లోనే తీయని మాటే అమ్మా, కదిలే దేవత అమ్మా, కంటికి వెలుగమ్మా. తనలో మమతే కలిపి పెడుతుంది ముద్దగా, తన లాలి పాటలోని సరిగమ పంచుతుంది ప్రేమ మధురి. The song goes like that. So this is for my mom and all the moms of the world. So I felt in the given time slot, I really tried to, because I'm not an experienced orator like what we saw before, people who came here and spoke, but this is what I really wanted to speak about. And as young parents to my generation people, I would like to say, please don't gadgetize your kids. Try to interact more with them. Try to shape up their future in a good way. Your role and your involvement in their brought up is very, very important. And the last thing, the bottom line and the closing line I would like to say is, there is nothing called preaching. There is only one thing, which is called practicing. So if you don't practice, you don't have the right to preach. So please practice before you preach. Thank you.